Alright, the next exercism problem is the last will problem in C++. The last will problem introduces namespaces. Now, namespaces are important methods for code organization. Namely, they help avoid naming collisions. What do I mean by that? Well, if we look at the code that's provided, if I highlight the first function called bank number part, you will see that there are 3 in total with the same name. And if I highlight the next function, code fragment, you will see that there are 6 with the same name. Now, if you examine them a little bit further, you'll see that code fragment has no parameters, and it returns a separate integer value. Now, why is that allowed? Is because each of the function that has the same name, they belong to separate namespaces. Now, the names of the namespaces in this code, they are named after families. So the bank number part, the first function belongs to the Zhang family namespace, whereas the second one belongs to the Khan family namespace. The third one belongs to the Garcia. So if you call the Garcia bank number part, it's going to be separate than the Khan bank number part. Same thing with the code fragments. To get this return value, you have to call the red namespace that belongs to the Zhang namespace. Because if I highlight the red namespace, you'll see that there are multiple red namespaces, same as the blue namespace. But the reason why you can have the same names for the namespaces is because these are nested within separate namespaces. So red and blue is repeated because they belong to their own separate namespace. So to get this return value, you have to call code fragment red from the Zhang namespace. To get this return value, you have to call the code fragment from the blue namespace that belongs to the Zhang namespace. Same thing for any of these. To get this return value, you need code fragment that belongs to namespace red under the namespace Garcia. Alright, now on to the tasks. Task 1. We have to define our own namespace called a state executor. Now you can see that this format follows the sample format for the namespaces. That's task 1. Task 2, we have to find the secret account number. So we have to define a function, an int function, called assemble account number, and it has one parameter. So let's do that. It has an int parameter called secret modifier. Now for this function, to get the correct value, you have to sum up the bank number parts from each of the families. So we are returning, the first family is Zhang, so we're going to return Zhang and the bank number part. But if you look at the function, it has a parameter, so we're going to pass the parameter from assemble account number to this one. Now I'm going to copy the last part because I got to do it 2 more times for each of the families. And that's the sum of the bank number parts of each of the families, Zhang, Khan, and Garcia. Now for the third and final step, we have to define another integer function called assemble code. And notice that it has no parameters. So int assemble code. Now, it relies on the information of the relevant namespaces from the families. The result is obtained by multiplying the sums of the blue and the red fragments. So we're going to return the sum of the blues. We're going to multiply that against the sum of the reds. So I'll do the first code fragments. This will be the blues. So the first family is going to be Zhang. We're going to do code fragment from the red, or no, the blues. I'm going to copy this because I need to do that for all of the families. Now I'm going to copy all of this, and notice that this is all for the blues and this one's going to be the red, so I'm just going to replace all the blues with red. Red, red, and red. And with the semicolon, and let's run the test. And all of the tests passed.